why would I, so when would I, as a business owner, make a decision if I want to work with you or software? And then how much do you charge
Well,
a
you
month?
still
You know
need
what
the
I mean?
software, even if you're working with me, you still need the software
Okay, so you need software
because
no matter what.
I will be working in the software.
Okay, so now tell me, what is the difference in the bookkeeping services that you offer? Because I'm guessing it's anywhere from $300 to $3,000. I have no idea. So you can tell us, the world, me, whatever, for the email, how much your bookkeeping services is and what kind of value you bring. Would I have to meet with you once a week for an hour? Do you just go into my software and take care of it and I don't have to know anything? Like, how does it work? And how does all of that stuff impact what happens at tax time? Because it already feels to me in my heart, I already feel like, even though this is just a fake mock exercise,
Yeah.
I feel like if we were actually to start it, that I'd be like, okay, I can do this. Like I said, taking one bite at a time, or, the first staircase or whatever. But when would I transition to bring you on board, and how much do you charge, and what's the minimum, and what's, like, I guess more complex situations would be more. But if I wanted to bring you on, even if I'm planning for the future, I'm like, okay, right now I have QuickBooks, it's $15, or right now I have QuickBooks or Waves, or it's $50, but I want to bring Tanya on. Why would I have that conversation with myself? Why do I need to bring on a live person now? And how much does it cost? Because I have to sell that shit in your marketing and in the email.
Right. So even though you would have the QuickBooks or whichever accounting software, whether it's Waves or Zero, once you have that, a lot of people don't know what to do. They don't know what the next step is. So I can give you the one-on-one, and then people like, well, I don't have time to do this. So yes, they can bring me on for me to keep everything organized. They would still need to have the account. They would have to add me on as the accountant in either of those. Then what would happen is I would start going in and I would start going through all your expenses, categorizing them, reconciling, doing reconciliation with your bank records. So I would start to handle
I
all of that.
hate reconciliation. I'm sorry, just when you even say that word, because when I was in marketing at this one company, we had to do that and we had to fucking match shit up. That shit would you say reconciliation, you give me trauma flashbacks.
So we
Hold
would
on,
do
baby. I
that.
want to open up the window 1 second.
Okay.
Damn it. Okay. Woo. Okay, so what I'm hearing from
So
you is it sounds to me kind of, I want to make a metaphorical comparison here. It kind of reminds me of MailChimp. I could go and get MailChimp for $15 or $50, but then I have to go in and learn all of this shit, and that can be overwhelming. So what I'm hearing from you is we set up the software, just like you set up the email, but then you go in and do all the complex stuff, because it is complicated. Just like go high level, learning all of those things is time consuming. It can be overwhelming. So I'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to give it to Tanya. How much is it? So tell me again what you do. You do the reconciliation. Do you do it once a month? Do you meet with me? Tell
so
me about that again.
I will go through your books monthly.
Okay.
I will categorize everything where it needs to go.
I don't need
That
to be involved, right? You're just doing this in the back
No, you
end, two
don't need to,
o'clock in the
you don't need
morning.
to be involved unless I have a question about a transaction that I'm not sure about, or there might be a transaction that I'm like, where is this from? Or what was this for? That type of thing. But then also to the reconciliation, check, looking, making sure all your reports are, lining up and all of that stuff. So the first package starts at 300 per month.
Yeah.
So that package, I will go in and I will just do all of your books. I will clean it up, whatnot. That's per month, 300 per month. And that will include your personal tax return at the end, right? The next package is $600 a month, which we would have a monthly phone call in regards to your expenses or your profit. Let's talk about what you have going on. I'll answer any questions that you have for me. I'll ask you certain questions. So we have basically a monthly check-in. with your books. And, you know, if things are changing, which a lot of clients, they will call me and say, hey, you know, I got payroll coming out on this, or like I have 401k payments, or I have this and I have that, or I'm looking to buy a house, I want to do this, or what do you think about opening up like a SEP IRA? You know, those types of things. Oh, I want to pull money out of retirement. How does that affect? You know, so we have a conversation monthly in terms of your finances and the company finances, to kind of see what's, you know, based on your situation, how it can impact your income and how it can impact your taxes. So the $600 package will also include your personal tax return, but it will also include your S Corp and your partnership tax return up to a certain amount of revenue. So up to, I would say, once you start making over $1 million in revenue, and there's more work that needs to be done on your file, then the cost could potentially be a little bit more. But for the fact that everything is organized throughout the year, it makes it a seamless transition when it goes for me to do your taxes, because now I can pull your report, and then here now all my numbers are already there and they're already done. Then I have another package, which is $1,000. So that $1,000 a month also includes your personal taxes, your business taxes. If you have a C Corp tax return, it will include your C Corp return, and your S Corp as well. The $600 package does not include your C Corp. It only includes your S Corp and your partnership return. And then the $1,000 includes all the taxes. Now, if we get into non-for-profit or estate taxes, those are not included in this. That's something totally separate. And then also with the $1,000 package, then, you know, statistics and analytics and going through trying to figure out how we can scale the business, all of that will be included in that as well.
Okay, so what level of income, or if you were to take all of your existing or potential clients and put them into 3 buckets of categories in terms of, you know, your $300 package is best suited for people in this position. Your $600 package is best suited for businesses in this position, making this to this to this. And people who are doing $1,000, they're making how much money? So yeah, how
so
would you
the $300 is good
people?
for people that have a small business that has kind of been going, but they just don't have time to keep up with their expenses themselves. So that's really more so just me so that would be $300 a month, just keeping up with everything. The $600 a month is your people that have like payroll, payroll,
Okay.
or they have contractors, 1099s, and let's say their revenue may be over over $50,000, 50,000 to like maybe, you know, $500,000, something like that. Then you have the other clients that, let's say their revenue is more than 500,000 and they need more in-depth. They have contractors, they have employees, they have locations, you know, they're really generating income, but they just really don't have the time, but they want somebody else to do it. So I kind of broke it down to based on what other needs are. There are other things that are a la carte, like if you need 1099s done to send out, or like T4As, W2s or T4s, T5s. And then there's other little a la carte things. Now, if you come to me in January and say, I need my books cleared up for the full year, that is $3,600. To go back from January of last year and clear up all your books. And that does not include your tax returns.
I liked your answer, because I was thinking about, again, you know, being a cheap entrepreneur, which most entrepreneurs are. I'm like, damn, okay, so $300 a month, okay, that's fine, I guess. But that's $3,600 for the year. Is this really worth $3,600 a year? That's the question I would be asking myself. So
your personal
what money do you save, or how do you justify? Because pretend you're talking to the cheapest cheapskate out there that's like, oh, no. I like $300 a month. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a professional. I'll just make it work, right? It's part of the other business expenses, as part of doing business. But then when I look at it, because people talk themselves out of buying things, right? So then I'm like, well, hold on. I'm like, so wait a second, that's almost $4,000 a year. What the fuck am I paying $4,000 a year for? So answer that question for me on three.
So your now, depending on the type of tax return that you have, basic tax returns, I start at 300. right?
Okay.
So it could be, I've seen tax returns anywhere starting at 300 to about $800, maybe $900, depending on what all your whole situation is. So let's call it, let's say median is like 500, let's say $600. Let's say even just 600. So you take that 600 out, that's $3,000. But that $3,000 is for me to monitor and to categorize all your accounts. So if you have 15 bank accounts connected to your accounting software, yeah, you're probably spending a good amount of money. Now I've had some that maybe only have 2 or 3, but they do a lot of transactions in between. So, and then most people, there's a lot of things that people don't know, or where it goes, or how it should be categorized, or like a payment to a credit card, because then it shows up as income, even though it's not income. So making sure that all of those go in properly. So, I mean, either you can pay me to do it, and then that way your tax return is seamlessly done, or you can do it yourself, and then I'll have a plethora of questions come tax time if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think just the ease of not having so again, one of my challenges is you sent me the expense report this like for 2 years in a row, I still haven't filled it out because it just the thought of sitting down and the amount of time that it would take to do that, it stagnates me. It just paralyzes me sometimes. So I think one of the selling features in terms of like, well, why would I pay $3,600 or $4,000 for this? I think what would get me to do it is it's like the peace of mind. It's also the ease. Like I would pay for that. I would pay for the ease of a smooth tax time where I don't have to do all that shit. Like if you're like, hey, look, I know $3,600 seems like a lot over the year, but $300 is like $10 a day. It's less than coffee, so it's no big deal. But even if you look at it in terms of the whole aggregate, $3,600 to keep you out of jail, $3,600 to prevent IRS from going in your audits, $3,600 for you to not be aggravated, to stop your business, to take the time to go back over a year's worth of expenses. Is it worth it for you or not? And if someone were to put it to me like that, I'd be like, fuck, okay, here, I'll write the fucking check. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because again, the biggest thing, the IRS and CRA, when it comes down to audits or reassessments, again, people like, oh, I just send them the bank statements. They could care less about your bank statements. They want organization. They want receipts. They want, if you're a business, you need to be acting as such. And at the minimum, get a free accounting software to say, here's my profit and loss statement. This is how much money I made. This is what I report on my taxes. And then here's all the breakdown of my expenses, right? And then if they ask to see certain receipts, well, here's, you can upload receipts if you want. I know for me right now, I have, this is my audit for Canada Revenue Agency.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They're expecting me to fax this in. I'm not faxing this in. This is getting mailed in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like if I had all of my accounting in place at this time, I wouldn't have, I have my accounting stuff in here, but I also have all my receipts of what I've been putting. So they have, this will be going to them. But that also helps to eliminate, a lot of the paper, all the additional paperwork that you need for receipts as well too. So
I think what else I'm getting from this is it feels like you're a little bit like a lawyer in terms of representation. So like, hold on.
Sure.
My computer's gonna die. Didn't realize it wasn't plugged in. Okay, are we safe now? Yes. Okay. What else is coming across to me in terms of bookkeeping, which is why I wanted to have this meeting. But it also feels like I have representation. What I mean by that, it's like you're almost like a lawyer in a sense that any one of us could be audited by any government agency at any time. We already know that that's a possibility. And if I have developed a relationship with you over months or years, and you have a really good overarching perspective, and again, even for you and I, you know about the business stuff, but you also know about Jonathan's situation. You also know when we want to have a house. So you're able to advise sort of on a larger level, more like a more holistic financial level.